Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I asked you guys on Instagram, maybe a week ago tops, if you wanted to see what I had inside my custom little Z palette here and sort of also show you what I've been wearing on my eyes really often. I did add 2 shades since I took that picture, but I am dipping into them all the time too, so I wanted to make sure I include them. In typical Ashley fashion, it is of course just a warm brown neutral little zone here. We got a little orange thrown in there for good measure. So I'm going to share with you guys the eye look that I've really been liking to wear, but first let me walk you through the palette. I'm going to go across this way, this way, this way. So I do have 9 shadows in here total. You could do a complete eye look with everything I have in here. So if you wanted to recreate it, you definitely could. If not, I highly recommend Z palettes. This is the small Z palette. These are available on Integrity Botanicals. I've never done a video dedicated to them. But just so you guys know, I try to mention that as often as I can. Just because while you're getting some eyeshadows, you can get the palette there too, and you don't need to source it from all over. But this is in the small size. Mine is a wreck, so I didn't even clean it to show you guys. This is just true what I use every day. I think this size is really great for travel, and you get to hold 9 whole eyeshadows, which I think is quite a bit. So a lot of Green Beauty eyeshadows as well, they come in that loose version rather than palette, so it's nice to be able to customize something, and I was just reaching for this so often. I forgot that I had made it, and then I'd be like, where's that color? I'd be like, oh yeah, it's that palette. Where's this color? Oh yeah, it's in this palette. I'm like, that works, it's all in one place. So, doing a little bit of a tour here, starting with that one at the top left that I said I was gonna start with. This is from Red Apple Lipstick. I've had this one for quite some time, and this is in the shade Porcelain. Porcelain is just a really pretty neutral toned, not too white, not too yellow brow bone shade. I've always liked this shade because it doesn't have too much pigment, but enough to sort of blend out the brow bone without giving you that stark color, because sometimes it's too white and you can sort of muddy what you've already done, and I don't like that, and that never does that to me. Right next door, we do have another Red Apple lipstick. This is one of my favorite eyeshadows of all time. It is called Sugar and Spice, and you can see both of those. I have hit pan, that's how much I love them. Sugar and Spice is more of a satin tone. It is marketed as a matte, but it's not. It picks up light in a specific way, but not too much so, and it's really just a beautiful, pinky, warm brown. I love that one so much. Then right next door here, this mine has seen better days, but this is from Hint Beauty. This is their single in the shade Rosy Velvet, and it's just a beautiful matte reddish terracotta shade. Very red tone though. Then next row, we have a very beautiful deep dark brown from Sappho. This is in the shade Jono. I really like this to sort of smudge out any sort of eyeliner work, add a little bit of depth to the crease, and this has really nice pigment to it that is incredibly buildable. That's why I love it so much. Then next to that, we have another Sappho shade. This is in the shade Beckett. Beckett is the perfect transition shade. It reminds me of a Silk Naturals loose shadow. I think the shade is Gracious that I really like, but it's that mustardy sort of Bobby Brown camel color. It's not quite as yellow as I would like it to be, but it's just the perfect warm brown transition that gives you definition without it being too dark. Then we have another Red Apple lipstick shade. This is in the shade Yes You Canyon. This is the most neutral, cool tone in the bunch. This is still a brown. It is deeper than Sugar and Spice. It is deeper than that middle shade I already shared with you guys, but still beautiful. And again, good for deepening up the crease just a little bit. Like if you were to do Sugar and Spice, then Yes You Canyon, then go in with Jono, that would be a nice gradient effect we have going on there. Then let's go to the next row here. Oh, I'm sorry, there's still one more in that row. I'm getting ahead of myself. I have another Sappho shadow. This is in the shade Monica. This is one of the newer releases from Sappho, and this is a really pale peach tone matte shade. And I really like this for sort of blocking out my entire eyelid and still getting that warmth coming through. Also, of course, a great brow bone shade. And this one really does pack a lot of punch. If you want a very clean brow bone highlight, this would be a good one for you. All right, moving along. This is the only sort of shimmery shade I have in here, which is really weird because I do love a good shimmery shadow, but this is just like the day-to-day go-to palette. This is also from Sappho. This is in the shade Minaz. And Minaz, I've always loved this shade. I like putting it on with my finger because it gives you that little bit of a glimmer, but it's not overly bright, and it is very, very yellow toned, which I think is really, really unique. But it's just that perfect in between, gives you a little something something, but it isn't too crazy. And then finally, wow, I guess like someone asked me what my favorite shadows are, but judging by this palette, it looks like it's Red Apple Lipstick and Sappho. But when I find a color I like from Sappho, I love the formulation. But overall, like, they don't have my favorite shades ever, if that makes sense. But clearly I like quite a few. They're all in here. Anyway, the final shade I have here in this palette is another one of the new launches. This is in the shade Victoria. And Victoria is just the most beautiful, just true orange terracotta shade. Much more orange than Rosy Velvet. Rosy Velvet is a lot more red, but they do pair beautifully together, and the pigment of this one is just divine and also a beautiful matte shade. So that is it, you guys. That is the palette tour. Now I'm just going to zoom you guys in a little bit closer, show you my everyday eye look, and it is incredibly, impossibly simple. I've just been like craving that. I just want it to be simple, easy. I work the night shift, so I'm there pretty late in the evening. I just want something reliable, and I always want something that I feel good in consistently. So this palette's been doing it for me. All right, so I'm zooming you in, and then we are getting started. All right, so I'm zooming you guys in, not super mega close, because again, the tutorial's not very detailed. We'll talk through some of my favorite brushes. These are ones that I'm reaching for. You guys, I mean, you'll know a lot of these by now. Sedona Lace EB13, I don't even know if they make this anymore, but if someone knows a brush that's like this, it's dense and domed, but has give to it. So like, it's too dense for me to add color to my crease, but for buffing out those edges, it's just like the best brush in the world. So today, I'm actually gonna go in with Monica. That is the newer Sappho shade in this corner here. And I'm just going to lightly dust this all over my eyelid. And again, I'm using this big brush because I don't wanna like pack on the color. But doing something like this will help all the other shadows blend. And then I have a lot of veins in my eyelid, so I do take concealer across my eyelid, but sometimes it gets creasy. So this will help it just sort of set in place. That's all. Then a brush that I've really been loving and that I always reach for, here I just have to find it in this mess. This is actually a blending brush from 100% Pure, and I love this baby. It just has a really nice shape to it. For instance, like this is the Wet n Wild one. This one's a little too puffy. This is the Wet n Wild one there. Not that I don't like it, it just like splays out the color a little bit more. This is my old fave, the Delium Tools Pink 785 brush. That's the puffiest. And then something like the Root is a lot more tapered. So you can see this is sort of the perfect in-between for all of them. So that's the one I'm gonna use. And I'm going to dip into a mixture of Sugar and Spice and Beckett from Sappho. I just like those two together. And then how I always do my eyeshadow, you guys, I mean, this is just very true to how I do it. Nothing special or unique here. I'm just going to very softly. I don't have a lot of brow bone space, so I usually take it up pretty high, but not all the way up to the brow bone, and I will soften that edge. But I do take it into my brow bone, and I take it out. Always like this. And I use just these relatively big swiping motions. You know, just like windshield wipers, little circles, and pulling the color very, very softly. So this is essentially my transition, but it's just very, very big. But you can see, like, look at that immediate definition I get with those two shades, but it's not dark. That's what I really like about the combo of the two. It's like whenever I don't know what to do, that's it. And then we'll go back in with that first shade Monica and the Sedona Lace, and I'm just going to soften this edge. And whenever I'm doing a tutorial, I'm always doing this sort of step a lot, but I don't always include it because it's just like, oh my God, it's just like, let's watch this girl blend for 5 minutes straight. You know, but always blending, always blending. And then some, obviously, I have a little bit more of a difficult eye shape because how hooded mine are. So I'm like really detail oriented with how I do it. All right, so now that I've laid that color down, I'm going to go in with, this is a Terry Miyahira 11 brush. What's up with Terry Miyahira, you guys? I feel like I haven't heard anything about her in quite some time or seen her post on Instagram. I have to do a little bit more of my Nancy Drew, but she makes some great brushes and some great products that I really enjoyed. So I am actually going to go in today with, again, I'm gonna mix Sugar and Spice and Rosy Velvet. I'm just gonna tap those together. And I'm just going to take this from like sort of the edge of my lash there, and I'm going to feather this color in. And the whole point that I like about this look and that this palette and how the colors all work together so well is like, I do this pretty messy, and that's sort of like the effortless look of it that I'm really into actually. So I'm just deepening it up just a little bit. And then on this brush, just to add some more warmth and a little va-va-voom, I'm gonna go in with Victoria, that's that orange shade. Just really a light hand though. And I'm gonna use that to sort of halo the outer edges there. So I'm just gonna be doing this a little bit. And again, I'm using the same relatively big motions. I'm just adding some warmth around the eye area and a little bit of depth. Nothing too crazy. All right, so that's that step done. Then my favorite underneath the lash line brush is another Sedona Lace EB09. Flat, you could lay down color with it, but I like to smudge out the lash line. I'm gonna go in with a mix of Sugar and Spice and Victoria for this. And I like this connected. Again, it's that Olsen 20 smoky, warm, but messy eye look. And ever since I watched that Emrata Vogue video, I'm going in all the way to my inner corner when I apply that. Okay, so like I said, I sort of just go depending on my mood. Like I have several sort of go-to looks. Right now, I'm just gonna base out my lid in that Monica shade, but I'm not gonna do it super dark. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that matte tone to my lid, and that'll sort of open up the eye and then keep this nice and long. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go in with Beckett, and I'm just gonna cover what I just did. I think I just want it to be more tonal today. So let's just Beckett all over the lid with just a big flat brush from Delium Tools. And this is like, Beckett's almost like my skin tone, but like a warmer, more orange tone of my skin. And then you can see I'm just sort of using this to soften that edge or just a little. And finally, just for a little bit more added depth, again, I don't use every single shade every time. I'm just sort of going for it. I'm going with Jono, and then I'm going to tap it in Yes You Canyon from Red Apple, and I'm going to add the tiniest bit of definition here because I am going to do my usual liner trick, which I will share with you on video, even though you guys know what it is already. And this, we're just using the most light amount. This is an old Sappho brush. I don't think they make it anymore, but it's just a little blender, but it's a little bit more tapered. And we'll go back in and we will blend once more. All right, so that's the eyes basically done. I do have one more step, but I like to do that last. I'm just gonna go in with the Kjaer Weis eyeliner. I really like the Antonym one. I like this one. It doesn't really matter, just whatever brown eyeliner you got that you like. And I always just do this on the end half of my lashes. I do this every single day. It's just like my makeup doesn't look right if I don't do it. It adds the best amount of definition. And then I'm also gonna take a tiny bit of it, and I'm just going to like the tightest part of my lower lash. And then this, I'll just take my finger and I'll do a little bit of that. We're just gonna repeat that step. Okay, last step before mascara. I'm looking for the brush I like to use. Yes, an Antonym number 12. And I'm gonna go in with Jono again. And I am just going to smudge ever so lightly that brown eyeliner. So it just softens and make it a little hazier, but I'm not blending it away because I don't want to take away any of the definition. This will also set the eyeliner and make it last longer. Actually, what I'm going to add and what I occasionally do, and today feels like a good day, I'm going to go in with Manaz. I'm going to circle her. I think I did end up using every shade for the most part. And I'm just going to pop this in the inner corner. I like a little bit of this. Sometimes if you want to bring it in a little further, you could do that too, but this is usually how I do it. And I love the way the Antonym number 10 brush sort of fits in there. I like it like deep in here to help brighten up any darkness. All right, you guys, I'm completely made up. Went in with some Fit Glow mascara. Something I did add This is something I usually do, just not with this product. I love a little bit of glitter on the eyelid. So I did take a little bit of the Gressa new eye tint in Cellophane, which is this beautiful glittering pink, on just a big fluffy brush and just sort of fluffed it. Sorry, I shit on my teeth as always. I just sort of fluffed it over my eyelid just for a little bit of shimmer, but I didn't want it to pull like super pink on my eyes. And for the lips, I'm wearing one of the new Well People Optimist lipsticks. I'm gonna talk about these soon. This is in the shade Choose Love. And then I topped that off with a little 100% pure lip caramel in the shade Butter Chew. And I think the combination of the two is beautiful and complements the look perfectly. So that is it. This is my little palette that I'm obsessed with. This is the everyday eye look. I know it's nothing revolutionary. It's the way I usually do my makeup, but I just like showing you how versatile this is. You can see I just like mix, I could do this with my eyes closed. Whoa, I almost dropped this and lost it and I would have cried. But anyways, you guys, I will put a link to this Z palette. I'll put a link to all these shadows individually in the description box down below. Yes, I know when you add it all up, it gets really expensive. You buy two here, though, you buy two there. And then you really do get your money's worth out of them. I've had these two for years now. And you can see I still haven't even used the full pan and they're still good to go because they're powders. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the response back on my Instagram page. I know I'm so bad about posting there, but I'm trying my best, trying to post here too. You guys know the drill with that. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Please talk to me in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you guys. And I will catch you in my next video. Bye.